You would think that with reports that the state of California is in a nice budget surplus situation, that the last thing we'd need to hear is that Governor Brown has convened a special session of the legislature to talk about raising taxes.
When you have one-party rule and the people in charge of the party are far left, you are going to get endless taxes no matter what. Right now, they've got more money than they've ever had. The taxes are at the highest they've ever been. They've got a big surplus that they don't know what to do with, and they're still going to have a special session to raise all kinds of taxes further. Now, they can't do it without the help of a few Republicans.
Just a few, yeah.
They don't have the two-thirds majority in the state Senate and in the Assembly, and I think John Kupal from the Howard Jarvis Association said they need one senator and 2 assembly people.
That's my memory, exactly. That's what I think he said.
So the spotlight is on these Republicans, and if you remember 5 years ago and more, we had a lot of tax revolt activity, and it was against the Republicans because these are the bastards who promise not to raise taxes. Every year they run on lowering taxes. And then often, at the last second, they stab the taxpayer in the back. They stab the constituents in the back. They lie, they flip, and they agree to jack up taxes.
No, not that it would be a good excuse, but at least back then, there were big deficits. We're in a surplus situation. Why the hell are they talking about raising taxes? And, of course, the first one we've talked about a lot. This is legislation by State Senator Jim Beal of San Jose that would raise the gas tax 12 cents, boost the diesel tax 22 cents, increase your car tax $100 for electric vehicles and $35 for your regular gas vehicles and hybrids. That's $4 billion that would allegedly help pay for a $59 billion backlog of repairs on state roads.
Now, we have one of the highest gas taxes in the state, in the nation. So why does it have to go up? Because currently very little of the gas tax money goes to actually fixing the roads, which is what we all think the money was intended for. That's everyone assumes that gas tax money, car tax money goes in part to keep the roads repaved. But it's not. It's been stolen. And it's been stolen for as long as I can remember by multiple governors and multiple legislatures. What they did is they raided all these transportation funds when they were trying to deal with deficits. They never put the money back, and it became standard practice to raise them. And I remember several laws or propositions passed which said this funding is going specifically for road maintenance and construction. And they would violate the law and steal the money anyway. Or they'd find some loophole, some exception to do it. So, like the DWP, it's an ongoing scam. It's ongoing money laundering. These people have a criminal mentality. And so now, Jerry Brown and all these guys, they just don't care. They're so far left-wing. They're so ideological. They're so cultish. They just want to take money, give us fake promises that the roads are going to be repaved, and then go blow it on whatever. You know, poor people, social programs, illegal immigrants, politically connected consultants and lawyers and whatnot. And if the Republicans go along with this, that we are going to be spotlighting them. It's going to be a hot, uncomfortable, sweaty spotlight for these Republicans.
This story in the Mercury News says that this Democratic State Senator Jim Beal spent a lot of the summer break crisscrossing the state to lobby for his bill, and he believes a few Republicans will agree to support what they call the transportation tax and fee increases when the time comes.
And watch the word transportation, because one thing about all these taxes over the years, they claim it's going to go for highway construction and maintenance, and it actually goes for some stupid boondoggle. You know, somebody wants to build a train that doesn't go anywhere useful. So, you know, this scam is trotted out every few years. Sometimes they're successful, sometimes they're not, but it's the same scam. In the end, very little money goes to the roadways. You just have to drive on the roads. I mean, they're just preposterously bad. And everybody agrees they're bad. But when you decide you're going to just spend money on social welfare programs, we have the most expensive welfare state in the nation. And we also spend enormous amounts of money on poor people, immigrants, illegal immigrants, and, of course, unions, teachers' unions, all the unions, the parasites that are in Sacramento. Those have been the priorities. There should be no special tax to pave a road. That should be one of the top priorities. It's not. It never has been. Not in the last 20 years. It hasn't been. So
the next set of taxes they're looking to raise is for health care. They want to pass a new tax on health care plans, as well as a package of anti-smoking bills. They want a new $2 per pack cigarette tax. That's what they're floating out.
Cigarettes
there.
are like, what, $10 a pack now?
It's amazing.
And
there's some will tell you that California's got one of the lowest tobacco taxes in the country, so we need to catch up.
You know what? I don't care if people smoke, and I think people who smoke should be left alone.
I agree.
It's not my business. It's not the state's business. It's the business of the smoker and the smoker's family. It is not ours.
And again,
so paternalistic, too.
There's the old argument, if you're really successful and you get people to cut back on cigarette purchases, you'll get less tax money. Then what are you going to do? That's
what happens, is they have driven down cigarette use in the state, and then they don't get enough money for their stupid issues. Same thing with cars. The environmentalists want the mile per gallon lowered, or actually raised, excuse me, and then that lowers the amount of tax money you get. People drive and use less gas because the cars are more efficient. Then they want to raise the gas tax. This has got to be stopped. They have surplus. They have excess. They just had a massive tax increase on the wealthy. They just had a sales tax increase. They have the highest taxes in the nation in all the categories. There's no tax category that we are not near or at the top. So this is just greed on the part of these left-wing obsessives.
And they need to raise money for health care because 1/3 of the state's residents are now in the health insurance program for low-income Californians, known as Medi-Cal. 1/3.
I don't know why.
It was greatly expanded under Obamacare.
We put out so many incentives for legal and illegal immigrants, poor people to come to California, way beyond our capacity to care for them. And then we're given this ever-increasing bill. It's got to stop. We've got too many poor people in the state, and there's too many incentives for poor people to keep coming here. It's ridiculous. It's a burden. It's overbearing. We can't take care of our own here.
Yeah, and that just leads to the third one. They want a new $75 fee charge when real estate documents such as deeds are filed with your county recorders. That's money for affordable housing development, generating $300 to $500 million a year. They want to take that real estate tax money and, fund affordable housing somewhere.
Sure. So what they do is they put out magnets for poor people to come here.
You feed the beast, then you got to... you attract it, then you got to feed it.
The poor people come here, and then we're told, well, we got to pay for their health care. Well, we've got to give them homes. Well, why are we giving homes and health care to massive amounts of poor people who are being attracted by the excessive benefits we're offering? I mean, that's ridiculous. And then they try to turn around and say, well, you're not being compassionate. It's like, stop. You don't get to use that shield anymore. People have to say, no, stop making it attractive for the poor to come here. We've imported enormous amounts of poverty. That doesn't help anybody. It helps nobody to have people who are going to have a very difficult time ever getting out of poverty because of a lack of skills and a lack of education.
All right. Well, that's what's going on in Sacramento. They meet to raise your taxes. More coming up.
John and Ken Show on KFI. Shannon is news.